In the hushed solitude of the encroaching night, where shadows danced in ominous patterns, a lone woman named Emily stood at the edge of the eerie forest. Her heart drummed with trepidation, each beat accentuating the palpable sense of foreboding that loomed over the dense thicket like a dark omen. She was determined to find her beloved dog, Luna, who had disappeared into the sinister woods earlier that day. Emily's friend, Sarah, had warned her about the dangers that lay within.
"Don't go in there, Emily. It's not safe."
Sarah had pleaded, her voice laced with anxiety.
"Haven't you heard about the serial killer on the loose? It's all over the news. Please, let's call the authorities."
But Emily, consumed by a primal fear for Luna's safety, had refused to heed the warning. Her mind was clouded with the urgent need to reunite with her faithful companion. With only a flickering flashlight in hand and the echoes of her friend's caution lingering in her ears, Emily ventured into the labyrinth of gnarled trees and twisted underbrush. The dense canopy above swallowed the moonlight, casting the forest floor into a void of impenetrable darkness. Every step she took seemed to reverberate through the forest, sending a shiver down her spine as if the very earth beneath her was alive with a hidden menace. As Emily pushed deeper into the thicket, the trees seemed to morph, their gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal hands eager to ensnare her. The air thickened with a cloying sense of malevolence, and the once rhythmic chorus of nocturnal creatures fell silent, leaving only the sound of her own rapid breaths and the distant rustling of unknown creatures in the underbrush. The beam of her flashlight flickered and waned, casting erratic shadows that seemed to dance in a macabre waltz. A sudden snap of a twig echoed through the silence, and Emily's heart skipped a beat. She spun around, her light sweeping across the shadowy forms of trees, expecting to catch a glimpse of Luna, but there was only the impenetrable darkness and the whisper of leaves. Her sense of unease swelled into a crescendo of panic as she felt a presence, an inexplicable weight pressing upon her, as if malevolent eyes were fixated on her every move. Her pace quickened, her breaths now coming in frantic gasps, her mind conjuring a multitude of horrors lurking just beyond her field of vision. Then, she heard it. A low, guttural growl emanates from the blackness ahead. She froze, her heart pounding in her chest like a frantic animal. The growl escalated into a menacing snarl that reverberated through the trees, sending an electric jolt of primal fear coursing through her veins. A pair of faint, fiery orbs materialized in the darkness, fixated on her, burning like malevolent stars. With a scream lodged in her throat, Emily turned and sprinted, her feet pounding against the forest floor. The sound of pursuit echoed behind her, the thud of heavy footfalls keeping pace with her frantic flight. A cacophony of indiscernible whispers seemed to trail her, their malicious intent palpable in the frigid air. Branches lashed out, tearing at her clothes and flesh, leaving bloody trails in her wake. The ground beneath her became treacherous, with gnarled roots rising like sinister claws to trip her at every turn. Her breaths were ragged, her limbs screaming in protest, but the adrenaline-fueled terror propelled her onward, her mind fixated only on escaping the unseen horror that pursued her relentlessly. The forest seemed to stretch on endlessly, an otherworldly labyrinth intent on ensnaring her within its grasp. Emily's resolve faltered as her strength waned, her body succumbing to exhaustion and despair. She stumbled, her flashlight clattering to the ground, casting her into total darkness. She could feel the stalk closing in, its hot breath brushing against her neck, its presence suffocating her. In her final moments of desperation, she caught a glimpse of Luna's silhouette in the distance, her faithful companion barking frantically, a beacon of hope in the enveloping gloom. With a surge of determination, Emily pushed herself forward, her arms outstretched, reaching for the light that Luna represented. And then, darkness swallowed her whole. The forest fell silent once more, the only sound the fading echoes of Emily's desperate cries. The night air hung heavy with an unspoken malevolence, as if the very fabric of the forest itself mourned the fate of the woman who dared to defy its ancient, inscrutable power. Days later, Luna emerged from the forest, her fur matted, and her eyes filled with an unspoken tale of terror. She limped back to Sarah's doorstep, where she was welcomed with tears of relief. Emily, however, was never found, her fate forever entwined with the enigmatic mysteries of the haunted woods. And as the seasons changed and the forest endured, her memory became a whispered cautionary tale, a reminder of the insatiable darkness that lingered within the shadows, waiting for its next unsuspecting victim.